Hello, hypothetical viewers. This is Wandering Dragon, and we are still playing Shining Force 2. We just met Mitula, and she immediately ditched us. First off, let's get some treasure chests. A critical sword. That could be cool. Let's see who that will be good for. Bedoe. Peter. Critical sword. We have a couple people. Ooh, so it's slightly better, and it probably does critical hits. I'm gonna give it to Luke, because I love Luke. He's great. Oh, there's little like hidden places here. I think we're getting a character too. Ah, yes, here it is. We're recruiting this statue, who was a person. I feel a power returning me to human. Cool. Hey, the evil is gone. Did you chase them away? Ben, who is she? How the hell do I know? Did you say Ben? Oh, you're from Grand Seal. How do you know that? Yes, we are, but who are you? Do you know how long I've been here as a stone statue? I do not. How do you know Ben? That voice, doing that voice actually really hurts my throat, but whatever. It's not even a good Gandalf voice, but he needs a voice. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Taya, a sorceress. Oh, so we will get at least one sorceress. That's nice. Goddess Mitula told me about you. She did? She didn't tell us anything useful. Yes, she was worried about you. You are fated to fight Zeon. That she is unable to help you. It's an order from Volcanon, who is in charge, apparently. But I'm here for her. I'm here to help you. Taya the Sorcerer has joined the Force. Cool. Is there going to be an explanation of why she was a stone statue other than the evil? Apparently not. That's old games in a nutshell, though, right? Just random shit. It's not really explained. No one has much of a backstory. It's just there. You want to go to Grants, right? Then I think we can use the ancient ship. Let's go to Nazca. Oh, the flying ship we heard about before. So she just following us around? Oh yeah, we haven't recruited anyone in a while, but now that I recall, yeah, in this game when you recruit people, they stay behind you until you, like, zone out to the next place. Got us some more mithril, and let's see what's back here. Oh, this might actually be how we leave. Let me just check and make sure that I got everything. Critical storage, through the door of the statue, search and Ty will join you. The rest of that passage... Or another 2 chests. Oh, apparently there was more that I didn't go see. Well, it's a power water and a healing seed. I guess the power water is worth it. We'll go back. This might be an entire episode of me just wandering around collecting items. Because I think we talk to these storytellers and then we go back to Pakalon, so there's going to be some walking involved. I thought this might be the way out, so I didn't want to like trigger the cutscene or whatever. But apparently it's some chests. I do like this chest design in like the different runes and shrines. It's sort of like... It looks very antique and mysterious, you know? It, you know, kind of suits the setting. That is nice. It's not all just the same graphics asset. That's the word I'm looking for. So we got those, and then on the right, we are gonna... There. Go through the door, through the door, find another chest with the mithril, which we did, and then through the door there's a lot of statues. Apparently these statues are the storytellers of Tristan. I honestly don't know if I would have guessed that without a guide. I do not know if I would have talked to these statues. maybe you'd eventually do it because of lack of anything else to interact with. Here we go. Ark Valley is a dark place where evil gathers. He who rules Ark Valley is the king of the devils. Yeah, we knew that already. It's real fucking helpful. Dark Soul, Dark Dragon, and Zeon. Oh, so Dark Soul is the guy we fought in the first game. I think Dark Dragon is the guy, if I remember right, in the backstory who, like, Dark Soul was, like, the servant of Dark Dragon or something. Because Dark Dragon was in, like, the opening scrawl of the first game, right? Like, the... And Zeon fought desperately to obtain Dark Valley. So, because as you may remember, this game, it is a sequel. It is not exactly a direct sequel. It's set in the same world, but in a completely different place. So we're not in any of the locations of the previous game. And we don't... I think we don't meet any of the characters, but it is technically in the same world. And so this is sort of tying the backstories of the 2 games together a little. Because the other game did not mention any devils, so it is a little like, where were the devils when like they were having the robot war in the past or whatever? The fighting of the Devil Kings. So, oh, that's right, this game kind of retconned it so that the others were also devils in hindsight. The fight of the Devil Kings created a mighty storm. I think I'm gonna sneeze. Zeon won. And yet, I seem to recall the Dark Dragon or whoever conquering the entire fucking world, so maybe he won this one valley and they were like, fine, we'll let you have it. and every devil named him the king of the devils. The other two kings envied Zeon. They're all the king, apparently. They sealed his powers inside the Jewel of Evil. I have to say, I think it would have worked better to just make this a separate game in its own world, because the two backstories don't really mesh that well. This really feels, it honestly feels like this game was originally crafted as a new story, and maybe there was some point where they were like, oh, we should just tie it into the other one so that people will be more likely to buy it or whatever. I don't know. And it feels a little awkward because they just don't quite mesh. Like, Dark Soul and Dark Dragon were not devils in the original, but now it's like, oh, they were devils the whole time, and this conflict happened in the past, but it wasn't mentioned in the other one, and Mitula and Volcanon, and it doesn't quite fit. And when Zeon lost his powers, he fell to Earth and created a giant crater where he hid. His moan destroyed the mountains, and the crater was buried by the debris. Wow. He sighed so loud that a mountain fell on him. Grieving over the fight, the god of wisdom, that would be Mitula, I believe, created the Jewel of Light. The Jewel of Light chose a brave man and gave him a holy sword. With the holy sword in hand, the brave man fought against the two devil kings. So that would be the backstory of the original game. Where the... What was the sword called? I think it was like the Chaos Sword or the Force Sword. I don't fucking remember. It was a green. It was not a holy sword. I remember that. It was like the Dark Light Sword or some weird shit. But yeah, I think this is tying back into the backstory, where the backstory of the original game was that the main character fought Dark Dragon or whoever, so this is now establishing that as something given to him by Mitula, and that they were the devils. The Holy Sword contained holy power. Thank you for informing us. Thus the two Devil Kings were defeated. At the time, they weren't Devil Kings, they were just a dragon. Evil Ark Valley was sealed beneath the ancient tower. Never open the door to the tower, a great evil sleeps inside, but we did end up opening it, unfortunately. In the event of Zeon awakening, the power of light will choose another. Believe us, we lie not, attack the devil at his mouth with the holy sword. Okay, so... that one sentence was the only useful information. It's like, try stabbing Zeon in the mouth. That's literally it. The rest of it was just, oh wait, we forgot to explain how this game and the previous game were connected. We'll just do that. Whatever. Okay, so now we are actually going to recruit another character, I believe. As you may remember, way back in Bedoe, the bird people town, on our way out, we did a little side quest where a baby bird person, like, fell off of the mountain and fell on top of us, and we rescued him. And because we did that, when we leave, he should now join our party. His name is Screech. Naming a bird people naming a bird Screech kind of feels like human being named like Mr. Human or something. Like, it's like Tony, it's the Tony the Tiger problem. It's like, why are you named after your species? I've got a couple people poisoned, so I'm just going to quickly unpoison everyone. But yeah, so we're getting a couple new characters. Unfortunately, we already have more characters than we can bring to each battle. So basically, I think I'm going to kick out Rick, because I don't like him that much. Possibly also Jaha, because again, I don't really use him as much, you know, it's just... let's see if we can take a look at our new friend as well. Does the member list show everyone, or... It does, yeah. So Taya is level 11. She has the Dao spell, and she's using Injure Staff. She has one spell? Jeez. Promoting to a sorcerer is harsh. Apparently you have to relearn all magic. I do recall that, though. I think the sorcerer promotion, like, the magic is completely different, so you have to redo everything. Here's Screech! And the other bird person is just named Luke, so it's like, what the fuck is up with this guy? Why is his name Screech? Like, that's a little on the nose. So weird. The other bird people did not have bird names. He also grew up a lot. Apparently the birds grow up pretty fast, because he was like a baby when we last saw him. Excuse me, are you Ben of Grand Seal? Yes, he's Ben, but who are you? I'm Screech of Bedoe. That's my fucking name. Bedoe? Ben saved my life there. Ben saved? Oh yes, I remember. You remember me? Let me thank you. May I go with you? Of course you can, buddy. Peter's inspecting him, apparently. You grew up quickly, huh? Yeah, I learned how to fight. Well, quite aside... Oh, he's already promoted as well. Yeah, I think we're not going to get, unless we go back to Creed's Mansion and those characters not promoted, I don't think we're going to get any non-promoted characters now. We're too far in. And let's check out our new friend, Reach, level 11, and he doesn't have a good weapon, but actually he does, he's just not. Luke is level 10, so they're about the same in level. Luke has an attack of 90. And his sword gives him a boost of 3, but still, that is like, he's like 25 points higher in attack. Defense 62. Yeah, this is a massive, massive boost. Agility, yeah, he's almost like, he's like such a massive, he's like 20 points higher in every stat, and that actually is why it is well worth it to grind it. If I understand the mechanics of this game correctly, your stats are much, much higher. Because I think when you promote to your new class, basically everything is reduced a little until you like get your stats back. But if you're at level 40, your stats are higher to begin with. So it just gives you a much higher ceiling. And the pre-promoted characters, because of that, I think will never be as good. And I have to say, the difference is much more extreme here than it is in Fire Emblem. Where leveling them all the way up gives you an advantage, but this is a much larger advantage. This is like 25 points of difference. It's pretty insane. In Fire Emblem, the stats are lower in general, though, because some stats, like, well, okay, in the newer games that is not the case. The stats are really high. But in the older, the ones that were at this time period. And let's, you know, now I'm questioning whether to bring in new members because they are markedly inferior. Now, Taya will still be worth it, I think, because her stats, her MP matters, but nothing else really matters. I guess if we get her hit by stuff, defense matters, but her magic will do more damage based on stats. Screech, like, I do love the bird people and he's real cute, but his stats suck. All the pre-promotes do, look at this, they're all, like, almost 20 points lower compared to the rest of the party, so I will let her. And we only have one magic user right now, other than our healers, and I really like magic users. Look at this, look how much better. Look how much better even the characters who are like level 2 are. They're 20 to 30 points higher in almost every stat. Just, there's no comparison. They're just so much. Peter has also reached the point where his attack is higher than 99. The characters that we couldn't level grind because they're added automatically, they are not worthwhile. And I mean, if you play like a normal human being and you don't level grind everyone to level 40 and you just promote them when you're ready to promote, they would probably be on par. I would assume that they're about the same. But wow. It makes it, I would have, you know, honestly, fighting Zalbard would probably have been much more challenging if we we weren't absolute madmen. Rick's stats are actually pretty good these days. Way back when he was like level 20, his stats sucked a lot. But I think he's basically caught up really. He's good now. Like, look at that. He's not our strongest guy, but he's good. So instead I'm gonna replace Jaha, not because his stats are bad, they're fine, because he doesn't get his turn very often, is the thing. So like, you know, when is he gonna join the battle, really? Hey, Screech is really cute, and on the one hand, I love having the bird people, he's real cute, I'd love to use him, but man, he is bad. Like, his stats are bad. I'm sort of mind blown by how shitty he is. To put this in perspective, his stats are worse than Sarah, the unpromoted healer. Like, his attack is only 2 points higher, and he's using one of the weapons that are exclusive to promoted classes, so her base attack is probably much higher than his. That is sad. I think I'm not gonna add him because, dang. He's too shitty. He's just too shitty, even though he's cute. Oh, look, the water came back. Let's see if everybody's dialogue changed. It's gonna be an exploring the town episode. The trees didn't grow back yet, but you know, they'll take time. Did you save Mitula? Then why don't you defeat those devils? Jeez. Feel free to contribute, centaur asshole. What to do? Man, I knew that there was an advantage to leveling everyone up all the way, but I did not realize how big it would be. I did not. So then I'm like, now I'm happy that I bothered to do it, because this is kind of awesome, but... Rain, this must be a present from the gods. From one specific god. Volcanon doesn't really do rain, it doesn't seem. Thanks to the rain, I'm no longer thirsty, but I'm still hungry. Not every problem has been solved. There's also just puddles everywhere, it's so odd. Also, there's puddles over the ground, but the fountain, they didn't change the graphic in the fountain. Which I really feel would be the most obvious way to show that it's not a drought anymore. Maybe that'll go at a later point in the game. Is Tristan occupied by devils? That's why we've had no rain lately. It is. So everyone's dialogue changed, but the changes are not really so interesting that it was worth doing. I mean, I guess they had to, because otherwise it would not make sense plot-wise, because they're telling you something that's not true anymore. I see Geshp frequently. He always stares at the castle. Isn't he one of the devils? He might be, like, thinking about killing the king or something. Oh, I was hoping maybe the well would be like, there's water again, but I guess not. Do-do-do. So now we are heading for the Pacalon throne room. And we're gonna get... There's gonna be a battle. Yeah, I think we're gonna get another character and then there'll be a battle. Getting a lot of characters. Thanks to the rain, I'm fine. That's good. This random guy is doing fine. I just saw a warrior who came from the south a year ago. He was shocked to find out that the tunnel was blocked and went to Moan. Oh man, I'm gonna guess we'll recruit that person later. Whoever they are. More centaur people. The devils escaped when they saw our soldiers. They're such chickens. We're about to fight a bunch of them, so I guess they were just regrouping. Practice? Who needs practice? Ha! Oh, I can't lift this spear. Yeah, you can really see why the devils would feel a need to retreat. I'm no longer thirsty, but I'm not totally healthy yet. Well, this is true. If you've had an extended period of like severe dehydration and malnourishment, obviously it's going to take a little time for your body to recover, even when you have access to adequate food and water again. Vicar Freya wants to go to Moan and save the people, but the devils will surge into Parmesha as soon as he opens the gate. Vicar Freya is the guy who's going to join us. So that'll be like our only vicar, actually, because we're not promoting the other two to vicar. It will require some patience, but we will have an extra master monk. They're just much more useful because as massive as Karna's MP is, she can cast an absurd number of spells, or, you know, the higher levels of aura and stuff do get expensive. So if we make them master monks, they can attack and deal a good bit of damage and save all of their MP for their support magic, which is very helpful. The king is a little upset. We've always believed that centaurs were the best warriors, but we were wrong. I understand. I mean, you're very dehydrated also, so I feel like let's save the game here just to... In case we feel like egressing, we won't have to walk all this way. But, I feel like the primary problem here was not that you're not the best warriors, but that you hadn't drank any water in like a month. Just gonna go ahead and limb and guess that. Hello, Vicar. His sprite is very weird. Like, the way his eyebrows are twitching makes it look like he's about to, like, freak out and start yelling. You defeated but he's apparently a very nice person, so his sprite is sort of unfitting. You defeated Zelbard. I feel like most of the sprites don't have, like, idle animations either, so it's a little weird. You defeated Zelbard and saved Mitula. You are trustworthy soldiers, so would you do me a favor? Please go to Moan with me. What are you going to do there? I believe there are survivors in Moan. I would like to save them. We have to go through Moan to get to Nazca, right? Wow, they changed the spelling. It's sometimes a C and sometimes a K. I guess that at the time this game's translation was made, there was nobody to do any kind of quality check and make sure it was consistent. Ben, let's go together. Why did they bother giving Ben like 2 lines of dialogue and nothing else? Maybe he was originally supposed to have dialogue and then they changed it halfway through the game and they forgot to edit those out. Alright, Ben decides to take Freya with him, and by decides, I mean that Peter decided it. Interestingly, this looks like maybe the name was based on Freya, like the Norse goddess, but it's spelt differently, and this is a dude. So, yeah. Thank you very much. Okay, and I think now we talk to the king. Devils came to pack along through Mound. We blocked the invaders by locking the gate at Mound. That means we abandoned the people living there. Yeah, we heard that last time. Thank you, strangers. You saved us. But I didn't think we would be saved by humans. And also Phoenix, and some elves, and some centaurs, actually, and really just a whole pile of random people. Okay, I think now that we have acquired our new character, we'll leave the castle and get into a battle outside the town. We still have 10 minutes in this video. Let's fight this battle. It honestly may not take very long, because we are still vastly over-leveled. Because we leveled up to level 40. We're actually not over-leveled in terms of number, because we're recruiting people who are like level 11. We grinded. Finally, we've left the castle, Vicar Freya. I remember this guy. Oh yeah, this is Gesh. Gesh! So you remember me, with that stylish hairdo. Or hat, possibly. Who could forget? So it's like purple and green, like devils have purple hair and green skin, because Zalbart did too. Is that like standard? Camila, I feel like she looks slightly different, but maybe also had that color scheme, but Creed was like, I think he had purple skin. So maybe it's like there's different ones. Maybe he and Zalbart are related. What do you want? I have plans for you. I'm very happy that you came out of the castle. Why? Because now he can attack us, buddy. I have been waiting for Freya. Vicar Freya, you locked the gate of Mound, remember? My faithful soldiers can't enter Parmesha, but you can, apparently. Maybe he was already on the other side when they locked it. Now you will open it. We actually will. We're heading there right now. He could have just waited patiently. It's a trap. It's a trap. Freya, run! There's a single fire right behind you. You can't just run around it. Haha, you can't. Camila. Camila? We met her in Pangoat Valley. Yeah, she has purple skin and purple hair, which is more like Creed. So maybe there's like multiple species of devils or something. Like, the purple hair seems fairly consistent, but some of them have greenish skin and some of them have purplish. What? Maybe I should give these people voices. They're apparently recurring characters. I wasn't sure. But also, voice acting is not my thing, as you can tell, and I really don't have that many different voices. Ah, Camila, you're here. Get the key for me. Gash, you're as devious as usual. Not particularly devious, since we were going to unlock it anyway and you could have just followed us. That I am. Now get the key. Me? Why? Camila. I hate you. It won't help you. Wow, some tensions. You want the key, you get it. You can use my army. See you later. That witch. Camila. There's some tensions in the devil. They're divided. There's also a hilariously childish. She's like, no, I hate you. But also let him use her army? I don't need your help, Camila. Come on, devils. Kill Ben now. Bye, Ben. You're not staying? I'm good at using my brains, not my strength. And yet he's almost certainly going to be a boss battle later. I'll return by the time you're defeated. Yeah, we might as well. Let's take a look at the map. This one can just run over. Yeah, it looks like most of the enemies are in the middle of town. I don't know. This might be the boss enemy. This looks new, the Devil Soldier. So we'll just go straight down, basically. It's a fairly large play area, but there aren't that many enemies, and they're mostly in the center, so I think we can basically ignore most of this map. Alrighty, fighting Gesh soldiers. I think the funny thing is he's like, I'm not a fighter, but I think he's the most powerful of the mini-bosses, because I think we're gonna fight him, like, last. So, at that point, he will be a fighter, presumably. I don't remember whether he is or anything, but I'm just assuming that we will fight him at some point. But that's new too, I should look at that guy. Yeah, who is this? Is this another wizard? A necromancer with freeze 3. So I guess like cold and zombies are associated here. Like you kill zombies with fire, so they're like ice element. That works. Peter's ridiculously strong. The Harpy Queen. Before we were just fighting regulars, but now we've leveled up to fight the Harpy Queen. Also just want to shout out again, Ben's take their turn just as often as everyone else, and their number of spaces they can move is based on their class, so that's the same for every member of each class. Whereas in this game, because your turn is influenced by, I believe, your agility, I'm actually not totally sure of the mechanic, but clearly it's not every single character just gets a turn in a fixed order, right? Like, the player character turns and the enemy turns are kind of, like, they're not two separate blocks. They're clearly different characters go at different times, and I would assume that is based on their stats in some way. So that means that the pre-promotes are really at a much stronger disadvantage because they take longer to get their turn, and they don't get their turn as often. So even when they finally get to go, they're doing less damage than your other characters, and they also don't attack as often, so by the time that we're actually getting them in battle, a lot of these enemies, we've already defeated them and moved forward, and they're way behind. So yeah, I don't know how usable the pre-promotes are going to be. You know, I feel like in the previous game, in Shining Force 1, you know, I'm actually going to have her heal Ben, I think. Because he is getting a little low in HP, and if he dies, we lose the mission because we can't go on without the hero. There we go. There we go. But, yeah, I seem to recall in the previous game that... Oh no, I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. Oh. You know when you're like about to sneeze, so you kind of can't like carry on talking easily? Because you're like seizing up with the trapped sneeze. Ugh. But in any case, in the previous game, I feel like quite a lot of our late game recruits were not promoted. Because I remember Adam the robot was not promoted, we had to grind him up, and Blue the dragon was not promoted, and we got two, I forget their names, but we got like a healer and a wizard right at the end who were also not promoted, and that did mean that, in a way, it made them less immediately useful, because we had to grind them up and promote them, you know, so we could... You know, now that I'm saying that, it sounds like I'm talking about like putting them in a meat grinder. We had to grind them up. No, we had to level grind them so that we could promote them, but it meant that if I actually wanted to do that, like if you're like, I really like this character, I have the patience to do a bunch of level grinding, I want to use them, you can. And we did, in fact. We used a bunch of the late game recruits. We used Adam, we used Blue, I think we used the wizard too, the one who got the bolt spells. I forget the name. Alec or something like that, I think. We did do that. Whereas in this game, even if you really like the pre-promotes, they'll never be as good as the characters you level grinded. You know, like, you don't even have the option to make them as good. So on the one hand, aw man, I forgot they inflict silence with their text. And look at this, Taya has gotten her turn, like, this is the third time, I think. And she hasn't been close enough to an enemy to attack once because we defeated them all way before then. Man. And like, we're obviously stronger than expected for this part of the game, but I feel like that won't last forever. The enemies will presumably continue to get more powerful as the game goes on, you'd think. So, like... I'm gonna have him just go over here until he's done being silenced. It just seems weird. And the thing is, if we didn't... I realized that they would be completely on par if when our characters hit, like, between level 20 and level 30, we had promoted them. You know, because you can promote after Creed's Mansion. Then they'd be about equal, but... because of Fairy Wood and the fact that you can replay battles, there's really nothing that forces you to not level grind. It requires patience. But you certainly can. So it's... and I mean, obviously, having the characters be not promoted, it's kind of bad in its own way, because then we're gonna run a little over time here, but that's fine. We're almost done with this battle, so I'll just wrap it up. Because then, like, you're forced to level grind if you want to use them, because they're not even promoted, but I did feel like that gave you the option to make them maximally strong. Whereas here, I'm like, the only way these characters would be useful is if I didn't bother doing any grinding, and, you know, I did. So, you can finally show off Bolt. Here's Bolt 2 that we have now. Ben has a fairly good amount of MP. Here in the previous game, never got any other spells, but Bolt is interesting because it has a much bigger area than the elemental spells. Okay, so we finished that battle. It looks like there is another battle right after this, so for now, let's go and save the game. And I think somebody was poisoned, so we'll go clean that up. And then we'll... oh, and let's check out our new friend. This is our... or he's not in the character list yet. Oh wait, I think I was looking for... I confused his name... wait, no, he... okay, so he's not. That's funny. Maybe he doesn't, like, officially join such that we can use him until we actually, like, unlock the gate. Like, maybe he's a plot character for now, and once we finished his quest, he'll, like, join us. Nobody died. Did anybody get affected by a spell? They did not. Okay, let's save the game. Yeah, so in this episode, we returned from Paklon, we learned a bit more about the backstory of this game, and we found out that to defeat Zeon, we need to stab him in the mouth. Which feels a little bit like Gordon Freeman in, you know, in the famous fanfic, finding out that the next boss's weakness is rockets. It's like, yeah, I really needed a guide to tell me that. So it sounds like there's gonna be a whole bunch of crazy shit happening next time. We're gonna fight our way through to Mon to open that gate, and it seems like before that, the guide I'm using is recommending backtracking to Creed's Mansion, which I would never have guessed to do otherwise. But it sounds like we'll have a battle and some backtracking ahead in which we're gonna learn some plot details, but for now, this is like video 5 today. I think I'm well caught up. I think we'll wrap up for now. Well, actually, I don't know, I'll probably make dinner and then maybe record some more. Yeah, I guess let's just pause the game instead. Gotta get through this game eventually. This has taken more than a year, which is really sad. I think we're like more than halfway through now, though. But yeah, so we just added like 3 new characters to our party. Unfortunately, they seem like they are mostly useless because of all the grinding we did, but if you choose to do a playthrough in which you play like a normal person instead of a weird obsessive like me, they'll be very useful to you, I'm sure. I'm hoping we'll eventually at least get to see Taya's spells, but she didn't attack once in this battle. We'll give her the quick ring or something, you know, speed her up a little. Maybe that'll help. But yeah, next time we are going to fight another battle, meet another new character. We're just getting piles of recruits. And then we're going to return to Creed's Mansion and see about what kind of mysterious events have been happening there. So thank you, Hyde viewers. This was Shining Force 2, and we'll see you in the